Hi, this is Joe with Turbo Lab. We get a lot of calls and a lot of emails regarding the dyno, what it is, what it does, and why I need to put my car on the dyno. So today we're going to show you what the dyno is, what it does, and why you need to do it. What we have here is we have a 2015. This is the Audi R8, and this is the V10 Plus model, a little bit higher end model than the base. And we have it on our brand new dyno jet, and this is a dual eddy current dyno jet. As you can see in the front, we have the car strapped down. This is the proper way to strap down the car. Two straps crossed, and then we'll show you in the back. We use 4 straps. Most of the high horsepower cars, that's what you want to do. 4 straps to hold down the back of the car. The car is bolted down under these rollers, and these rollers are actually going to be rolling and spinning with the RPM of the tire. This is what's going to give you a baseline where you're going to do all your modifications. This is the first place to start so that you know what your car is currently making. Before you do any mods, this is the most important. So we're going to show you what the dyno pull looks like and why we need to do it. This is the DynoJet software. This is a software that's going to tell us horsepower and torque, and this software is super accurate. DynoJet is definitely the best, and this is how we get all of our base units. This is the control unit. This is what allows me to control the software and the dyno from inside the car. I'm going to turn on these fans real quick, and here we go. Okay, so we just got done baselining this 2015 Audi R8 V10 Plus. So now we're going to look at the dyno graph, and this is going to give us a bunch of information that we need. As you can see here from the dyno graph, we've got our peak numbers, and we've also got our RPM over horsepower. We use this graph to be able to tell customers where the vehicle has started and how well it's running. This is the most critical part of the tuning process, is to know where we're starting as a base. We can use all of this information to better tailor what the needs are of the customer. We can analyze how well the car is running. You can see this graph is fairly flat. The line is pretty predictable on how it runs, and here we can see the torque. The best part about this is that we can see, okay, let's pick an RPM point. Down here's RPM, and at 5,500, we can select this and say at 5,500, we're making 321 horsepower and 308 foot-pounds of torque. From there, we can figure out how to tune the car. If we want to make more low on horsepower or low more on torque, or if we want to shift the power band up. So this is a pretty vital piece of information. We can use this as our base when you make any modification. Let's say we did an exhaust, or in this case in this car, it will be a twin turbo system. We can use the base that we have here, and then we can retest with the twin turbo system. This is obviously going to tell us our gains, but more important, it's going to show us the slope and the way in which the car is making power. From there, we can also, on this third graph, had we had it enabled, we get air-fuel ratios. Super critical to know your air-fuel ratios and tuning. Air-fuel ratios and ignition timing are the most critical when it comes to properly tuning a car on the dyno. This is step number one. Everybody asks me, Joe, what's step number one? Step number one, please, get your car on the dyno. We have a place to go. A lot of times people say, I need to have my car tuned. It's not always true. A lot of times the car just has a mechanical problem that we need to fix. For instance, this car is making the appropriate horsepower, but let's say this car had made 350. We would say, okay, at this point the car doesn't need to tune, it needs to have a mechanical repair. I would say 65% of all the calls that we get, the car needs a mechanical repair, not a tune. So this is why this is step number one. Come in, put your car on the dyno. This information, since we use the DynoJet software, first of all, it's very accurate, and also this these numbers don't lie. There's no way to calibrate this. So what you see is what you get. A lot of people are kind of heartbroken with that, but from here, now we know the entire scope of your car, where to start, where we're going to go, and that really is what's most critical. A lot of people worry about that horsepower, kind of how much horsepower does my car make? Well, it's really kind of irrelevant. Every car makes its own, makes different horsepower. Some cars are really close, some cars are real far away in what they make stock. We want to find out what the gain is. We want to find out where we start and where we're going to make sure we're going in the right direction. So this is why we put the car on the dyno. This is why we have invested in the new DynoJet, because the software is very good and the equipment is very accurate. So hopefully this was informative and you guys can understand why we use dyno, what it does, how it works, and thanks for tuning in.